Alright guys, welcome back into the channel. We have already done all the other 3 challenges in Forzathon, so let's go ahead and do the last one, Forza World Tour Part 1. So challenge number 1 consists of completing 3 laps on Brands Hatch in a British car. This is the McLaren 650S. I don't think I've ever driven this car in this game before. I'm not entirely sure whether or not I caused an accident in there, but yeah, I probably caused it. But anyways, I don't think I've ever driven this car in this game before. I don't even know if it's any good or not. So yeah, this game has so many cars that I've only driven a small fraction of them so far, and I don't think I'll ever will get to drive all of them, to be honest. I didn't remember how the back of this car looks like, and then I remembered which car this one is. Kind of borrows the back of the 12C and slaps on a basically remodeled front, which I'm not a big fan of. I don't know if it's the 57S, or I don't know the proper name of the car, but I like that other model that has the backside completely redesigned. It has more modern lines. I find that the backside of the 12C to be a little bit boring, maybe a little bit outdated. I don't know. I just don't like it. I'm using a grip tune. I think since we're doing these challenges, I'm just going straight ahead and downloading a tune setup before I get started. But it might be a good idea for me to at least do one race without the tune setup on, just so I can get a feel for how the car handles at stock configuration before I apply any tune setup. This way I know what are the trade-offs of the tune setup that I'm currently using. Usually grip tuning also trade off speed for handling. So I think this might be the case here. I don't know how fast this car is on a straight line. Went a little bit too wide and we almost went off the track. Yeah, that curve kind of threw me off. It's funny how some cars feel natural to you and some don't. And I think this McLaren falls onto the second camp. It doesn't feel natural to me. I feel like I'm kind of struggling with a car to keep it stable. It's not that the car is bad, it's actually very good, it's very stable. But I don't know, the handling style of this car doesn't feel natural to me. Not as natural as, let's say, the Mercedes SLS or cars like those. But I think that the cars that I dislike the most in the game, in this game in particular, especially handling wise, are the Porsches. I don't know, Porsches used to be such good cars in past Forza games, and I don't know what happened with them in this one in particular, but the physics on pretty much most of the Porsche cars in this game feel off. It doesn't feel like Porsche. Not that I have driven a Porsche before, I've never got inside in one of those, even though I really wanted to do that someday. But I don't know, Porsches in other Forza games always felt rock solid, very stable, quick. In this game, they still feel very quick, but they are as far as it can get from being rock solid and drivable. It's a constant struggle to keep the car under control. And I see that there's a lot of people in the community kind of complaining about this aspect of Porsches in this game, so I'm not the only one who feels that these cars in this game feel off. I think I'm gonna get overtaken. No, I'm not. Okay, so we finished 8th place. Not great, but then again, we don't need to win the race to complete the challenge, so it doesn't matter. Let's see if the challenge registered. That's the biggest challenge of doing Forzathons in this game, is actually getting the game to register what you've done as complete. Okay, so looks like the challenge registered as it should, so we're able to move on to challenge number 2. Go at least 120 miles per hour, Homestead, Miami, in the 1957 Chevy Bel Air. I don't even know if I own this car, so, and if I don't own it, I'm gonna have to do a couple of off-camera races in order to get the money to actually buy one for myself. So let me check if I have it. Alright, so turns out we don't have the car, but we're able to rent it. I'm not sure if the challenge, if it counts towards the challenge if you use a rented car. So I guess we're gonna find out together in this race. We need to set the race up at Homestead, Miami. I think I'm gonna do just one lap because it's just a matter of reaching the target speed. Okay, Homestead, one lap. By the way, is it Homestead or Homestead? I never know which of the two is the correct one. I like to pronounce Homestead, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below what is the correct pronunciation of this track name. Alright, so according to Google, 120 miles per hour is about 193 kilometers per hour. So if that's really accurate, we should have already got our Forzathon challenge complete because we hit 194 kilometers. But I don't even know if these cars actually produce any slipstream at this speed. Looks like the car doesn't want to reach 200 kilometers per hour. Maybe we hit the top speed. But anyways, I think this is enough to complete the challenge without any trouble. And I just realized, oh my god, I just noticed that this car only has 2 gears. It doesn't go up. I wish I were kidding, but I'm not. I'm pressing the shift up button and the car doesn't shift past the 2nd gear. I didn't even know that two gear cars existed. Okay, so the challenge, this challenge also registered, and now we only have one more challenge to do. Challenge number 3: complete a race on Suzuka in the 92 Honda NSX R. Let me check if I have this car or... by the way, one tip that I can give to you guys, in case you don't have the car that you need to do the challenge, you don't need to go and buy one for yourself if you don't want or if you don't have the money. Just rent the car that you need and the challenge registers as if you had one yourself. So in order to save some money or even prevent you from buying a car that you don't want, the game does allow you to rent cars and still complete the challenges normally. So let's see if we have this 92 Honda NSX-R or if we need to rent it out. So I did have the Honda NSX-R, so we didn't need to rent it out. Oh my god. I'll never understand this sort of pile-up at unbeatable difficulty. You would expect the cars to be way smarter than this and not brake as much as they do in some of these corners. I don't remember whether or not I've driven this car before, so I don't know for sure whether or not we have a tune setup applied to this one. But I know that this car is really good for online lobbies. I just need to make sure that we do have a hopper where we can use this car. If I remember correctly, I think in Forza Motorsport 6 this car was really great in A class. I might be wrong, it's either A or S, but I'm almost certain that it was A class. But I don't know if we still have an A class hopper because with this game, I'm kind of liking what Turn 10 Studios doing with the hoppers. I'm gonna give them that. It's awesome that they experimenting with sort of a rotating system where they add new hoppers and sometimes take some of the other ones out for a while, then they bring it back. And I like this because it keeps the races varied and stop people from actually just joining the same hoppers over and over and again, and kind of forcing you to play certain hoppers because that's where most people are. And I think it's a great idea that they have this sort of rotating system. And I really hope that they keep doing that they keep adding more hoppers and taking some of the older ones out for a while and then bringing them back and removing some of the ones that they've added before, just to keep things always fresh. Went a little bit too deep here. It's funny because I'm able to take this corner way better in Gran Turismo without the racing line than I do with this on this one with the racing line on, and I don't know why this happens. I remember that in Forza 6 there was a short period of time where I tried a race with the racing line off, and for the most part I was actually succeeding. I managed to set decent lap times without the racing line on. But then I joined online races and then I got massacred because most people have the racing line on, so they have a slight advantage over you, especially so when there's those huge pile-ups around one of the first corners where you can actually see your braking point that clearly. And so people with the racing line on might have a slight edge over people who are racing with it off. So I kind of gave up on that and just turn the racing line back on. But I know that if you turn it off, at least from my personal experience, you're able to be way more consistent than with the line on. I don't know if I said with the line off first, but what I meant is you're able to set way more consistent lap times and do way more consistent laps around the track with the racing line off than you do with it on. And I think it has to do with the fact that with the racing line off, you are forced to pay way more attention to what you're doing. And with it on, you just let go of uh, certain aspects of the racing, and you just let the racing line kind of guide you, and that's where the inconsistencies uh, come up. I don't know. I think I might be trying with the racing line off, but I don't know. I've been meaning to join one of those racing leagues that people organize outside of Forza Motorsport, because I'm always watching Super GT channel, and they are fun. They are everyone that takes part in this type of racing uh, are clean racers. They have rules to follow, otherwise they're banned from the championship. So I really want to join those leagues, but for the most part, those leagues require you to race with the racing line off. So I need to practice before I even think about joining one of these. But anyways, looks like we finally beaten the challenge, and we are gonna unlock the prize that I was most looking forward to, which is the Ferrari F12 Berlinetta. This car is my go-to car in one of my go-to cars in S1 class in Forza Horizon 3. This car is such a joy to drive. It's fast, it's really quick around the corners, and I know that's not gonna be the same in Forza Motorsport 7, but I like this car. I'm not a big fan of Ferraris, but if I ever could afford to own a Ferrari, that would be the one that I would be getting for myself. Let's see if we get the. Oh yes. So looks like, yeah, we got beaten up by the challenge because it didn't register. So let me reboot the game and I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so we're back and we finally got. Oh crap, we didn't. Okay, I for a moment I thought we lost our prize. I thought it was just an error that would prevent us from getting, because we already had our chance of getting our prize. But I'm thankful that um, we managed to get it. So there it is, the 2012 Ferrari F12 Berlinetta. I'm really excited to try this one out, not necessarily in online lobbies, but I might be taking this one out in the track in one of the hoppers sometime soon. So that's been it, guys. This wraps up the last set of Forzathon challenges. We did all the fours they made available in the latest wave, and I'm looking forward to the next one. I'm figuring that it's gonna be in about a month, because most of these challenges had over 20 days. Give players over 20 days to complete. So um, I'm expecting more events to come over to the game sometime around maybe late January. But anyways, let's see. I hope you had fun. Thanks for watching. If you did like the video, hit like button, subscribe to the channel for more Forza Motorsport 7 content, share the video with your friends and on your social media, helps me out a lot. And I hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye.